When I opened NBA 2K19 about 2 months ago now, out of the box, I was actually very impressed with the gameplay improvements. Before any patches, and this was actually before most people had the game because I got it with the early release, I was thoroughly impressed because not that the game was perfect, but that they had definitely put an emphasis on fixing the things that we said were the biggest issues in NBA 2K18. Defense got a total makeover to the point that it actually became overpowered, and it's still a little bit overpowered today where the steals are a little bit out of balance. One of my biggest issues was not being able to make open shots. So you could play better basketball than your opponent, but you would still end up losing because like you would miss your first 5 open shots. Layups, they tuned those like crazy. The very common sense thing was giving us a layup meter, and that basically revamped play inside. And speaking of play inside, they also did a lot of work to the post game. Last year in 2K18, it was basically impossible to use the post because nobody could really use their fadeaway properly, and then anything inside the post was like automatically contested. And don't even get me started on that fumble issue. 2 months into this game, 2K19, and I still really haven't seen that. I've only seen it a couple of times, and that's if you deliberately run into somebody, but they really did a good job on that. But as we speak, I'm really starting to get worried about the direction that this gameplay is going. And maybe it's through the various patches that they've already had in the first 2 months, or maybe it's just that I'm playing the game more often these days and I'm starting to notice more and more cracks. And, well, long story short, one of the biggest issues we had last year is slowly creeping its way back into the game. As a matter of fact, it's back, guys.
Pass to Siakam. It's not gonna go for him. Here's Evans. Rebound, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Another shot. Here's Millsap. Second shot opportunity. Chandler.
You have to prove a point. I won't be a pushover.
Nice passing here by Los Angeles. Chamberlain's shot on the clock. Ball to Antetokounmpo. Here's Embiid.
Oh, come on now,
Goes
dog.
up again.
Come on, man.
So when this game first came out, I didn't want anything touched, but the one thing that I did agree, if they were going to touch something, the thing that I did agree probably needed to be patched was the shot success. I felt like guys were just making way too many shots, and even a lot of the tough shots were going in, and me and my opponents would end up shooting 60% for the entire game, which is that's just way too high. But as you can see by the footage, and I'm playing this game every day and I'm noticing it, success inside the paint has clearly been tweaked, and guys are now, again just like 2K18, being rewarded for just being there. It doesn't matter who's there, by the way, it just matters that there's a body there and the shot ends up too contested to go in. So I've put together some plays that I just thought were utterly fucking ridiculous because I think they illustrate my point better. So in this game, I'm the 08 Rockets, so of course I have T-Mac and Yao Ming, and I'm playing against the Wizards. And in this particular game, I'm having a really hard time scoring for whatever reason. Well, there's a specific reason, you're gonna find out. Anyways, I see a great opportunity here. I see Austin Rivers on Tracy McGrady, and immediately I'm saying I'm not gonna put T-Mac in an ISO situation, I'm just gonna put him down in the post. I have a huge size advantage and T-Mac is a great finisher. So I put him down there in the post against Austin Rivers, and I spin into the basket, I get my leg behind him. Look at this, I'm at the basket with T-Mac now. I have the size advantage, he's a great finisher, Austin Rivers is not a great defender. There's no reason that this layup shouldn't go in. I get the layup, and of course I don't really time the release, I don't time the release perfectly, but rarely do you ever really get a perfect release in this game, and it ends up going straight over the rim. How? I put this example specifically because I feel like this is something I did when the game came out, and if I had the advantage, I'm not just saying that this should be a go-to move that you can do every play, but if you have a clear size and skill advantage, this is supposed to be money. This is the kind of shit that throws me off my game right here, because when I have a great finisher at the basket and somehow it ends up being As a matter of fact, this one says it was only lightly contested. But if you look at the actual play, if you slow it down a little bit, even though I completely had Austin Rivers beat right here, meaning the guy who was defending me, he didn't do what he was supposed to. He didn't shut me off. T-Mac still ended up fading away a little bit right here, where this really should have been a very simple scoop underhand layup. That should have been money. I threw it into the post because I knew I had that advantage. It was clear as day, and I didn't even hit the rim. This play, there is absolutely no reason this guy should have felt comfortable enough to have 6'9" Jeff Green defending 7.5-foot Yao Ming down in the post. So I immediately pick up on that. I throw it to Yao and I say I'm going to be patient. I'm going to make him bring help. I'm going to make him do something here. I'm backing Jeff Green down. I'm getting all the way into the paint, careful not to get a violation. Yao ducks his shoulder in, gets a little hook shot, and it doesn't go. Let's look at that one again. So I pretty much have him where I want him. I think for the size disadvantage here, Jeff Green was definitely able to play a little bit better D than he should have been on Yao. But the point is, this is barely a contest at all. Jeff Green is all the way down there. Yao Ming's damn elbow is where Jeff Green's hands are. I think my release on this one should have been good enough for 7.5-foot Yao Ming to make pretty much what was an uncontested little flip shot at the basket. I'm sorry, I don't see an explanation for that one missing. It says that there was a light contest. I guess you can call it that. I mean, I guess you would say it wasn't open because he was there. But in real life, that's Yao's money shot right there. I should have been able to get a little deeper in the paint, but this is at the rim. Jeff Green did not leave his feet, and it's no good. So this time, he still got Jeff Green on me. And you see that the problem that this creates is that he's not playing basketball the way he would really have to play this situation in real life. Because in real life, if Jeff Green is in the post by himself with Yao Ming, he's got to bring help from somewhere. The defense has got to collapse in and I'm going to have an open man. But because he's pretty much picked up on the fact that 2K's post game really should be the least of his worries, he's got me on single coverage. He's not bringing any help. So again, I'm backing down, and this time I say, you know what? I'm not going to go down the middle. I didn't get deep enough position. I didn't get as deep as I wanted to that time. So I'm going to spin the other way. I do the same move I did with T-Mac, spin to the right side, get a decent release. Still no good, and this time they called it heavily contested. Let's check that out. Again, this is really deep position. Look at this frame right here. Look where Yao Ming is. Again, once again, I should have Jeff Green beat. He is now officially behind 7'5" Yao Ming. In real life, this is probably a dunk for him. But instead, by the time he spins, Jeff actually does manage to get in front of his body. And he even gets a good contest. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty decent contest. But I was really far in there with a really tall player on a guy that should not be able to play this good of defense on a center. And this is just what post moves in 2K19 have become. When the game first came out, a move like that with the size advantage, that's money. And see, I do want to clarify that. If I had Tracy McGrady backing down Jeff Green like that, then the size difference isn't there. T-Mac can't really just shoot over him. So then I get it, my size and weight difference is neutralized, and it's a good contest, I get that. But there's no way where Yao Ming, who completely outclasses Jeff in both size and weight, or height and weight rather, there's no way that's not just an easy 2 points right there. There's just no way. So do you know where this really becomes a problem? Because for a guy like Yao, he can fade away. He's got a mid-range shot. So when the inside moves aren't working, with guys like him and Dirk, I can simply fade away and hit a little jump shot. This doesn't kill the game for them, but a guy like Wilt Chamberlain is quickly becoming very useless. Wilt is a guy that I've actually had some really good numbers with this year online. But the only way I'm ever really scoring with Wilt is if the defense comes out of the paint and he's wide open, or he gets a rebound and he gets a slam dunk putback, or he's got a really bad center that he can just push all the way under the rim and dunk on. But Wilt has no mid-range, he has no turnaround jump shot off of one leg, he doesn't have that, so ISOing with Wilt in the paint is nothing like it should be. As you see right here, for whatever reason, I'm matched up with the 19 Dallas Mavericks, and this guy's a tall center, but he's not that good, so I'm gonna get him, I'm gonna make sure he's deep in the paint, and I got what I wanted, look at this. So I've got him pinned under the basket, I'm doing the move again where I'm gonna wrap him with my leg, but instead of just putting it right up, right then and there, because he's in the middle of the paint at that point. Look what he does. For what? For what reason? This is where the post is becoming useless. I've got deep position. At this point, he should have to basically foul me to stop me. But he enters one of the weirdest layup animations. This man actually turned away from the basket and tried to do a reverse. That was a contested reverse layup he attempted. Did I just mess up the controls on that one? Here's something I'm running into that's really concerning me. This is where they're really going backwards. I missed this shot with Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, an uncontested rebound, and he misses an uncontested putback. 2K called this one. The coverage was lightly contested. I've got Devin Booker behind me. I've got Trevor Ariza trying to get a hand up. Wilt Chamberlain is 7 feet tall. He's got a massive size advantage on both of these guys, who are, by the way, actually behind him. This is Wilt Chamberlain's bread and butter, inside the paint rebound. And this is exactly what used to happen in 2K18. As long as there was bodies there, it would be called contested and it would miss. Again, you can talk about my timing on the release, but a release is rarely ever perfect. They're always either late or early, and sometimes you get a green. Either way, my release should have very little to do with Wilt Chamberlain uncontested under a basket. This shouldn't even really count as contested. This should barely count as contested. Ariza and Booker are both behind him. All Wilt Chamberlain sees here is the goal. That's 2 points any day of the week. So here we have this one. This is off of a steal. I take a bad shot with Elgin Baylor. That was definitely contested. Oh, another rebound by Wilt. And another missed putback. Heavily contested. That's what they called it. Let's have a look at this one. He flies in and gets the rebound. That was actually a contested rebound, I'll admit. I pump fake to get rid of Ryan Anderson because I saw him and Aiden. So now I've gotten rid of Anderson. Anderson is on the floor. Look at this frame. Wilt is already in the air, Aiden is not in the air, and neither is Anderson. That is a dunk in real life. That is a dunk. And again, instead he does this thing where he glides just a little bit to the right instead of just going straight up with it. There is honestly no amount of defensive pressure short of a Hakeem Olajuwon standing right in front of him that should make Wilt Chamberlain miss a shot like this. There's just no way. That's got to go in. I've done the work here. I've secured the rebound. I've got rid of a defender with the pump fake. There's no way that he should be rewarded just for being there, just for having his guys just standing under Wilt Chamberlain. There's no way that doesn't fall in. So you've got the point by now. Those are all games that I played yesterday, so I specifically wanted to walk through those. And basically what I'm finding is that the gameplay is very, very inconsistent. There will be plays where the post works exactly how it's supposed to. I've got a massive size advantage down low. I spin inwards, and it's an easy 2. But I've played a lot of game with the 71 Lakers, and the way that I'm getting 21 points with Wilt Chamberlain tonight, it's not by post moves. Occasionally, like I said, I'll have a very weak center that I can just back all the way under the rim and then I'll get a dunk. But as far as these drop steps or shimmy shakes or pump fakes, anything that involves your big man or any player, as you can see, turning into the basket for a post move, the success rate on those it's been curved a little bit too low. And I think that that's something people were complaining about at the beginning of the year. I think people were complaining about the success rate down there, and maybe they've touched it, but they've overcompensated because now it's reaching to a point where it was like last year, where the misses are becoming inexplicable. They're going back to rewarding guys for just being there, and I'm afraid that's eventually going to leak into shooting. Your best bet in the post now is a guy that has a jumper. You've got to be able to create separation going the opposite way, because I'll pick up, let's say, the old Orlando Magic that have Shaquille O'Neal, and I'll be afraid to post up a Dwight Howard because O'Neal doesn't have a post shot. He doesn't have a fadeaway. He doesn't have something going away from the basket. So I have to depend on this guy being a piss poor defender. But as long as he just has a decent defensive center, he doesn't even have to be great, a decent guy that can stand his ground, it's starting to neutralize guys that were really good at this kind of thing in real life. I don't know, man. It's only November and this is not looking good.